Welcome to a place where purpose meets passion, where the call of these copper-covered castles ignite our innovation. We can tell you what it means to explore. On these brick-battered floors, we dance with the principles of science, discovering disease and perfecting cure. Unlock doors and aspired for more, unraveling the confines of social constructs and dissecting the mysteries of the human condition. We've made it our mission to ponder and prove the powers of creation and design, armed with intellect and skepticism of the laws which govern space and time to do what's never been done. Come with us to the forefront of exploration, to traverse international borders and submerge ourselves in cultures, because true leaders refuse to falter when standing face to face with the complexities of foreign affairs. Among us are those who dare to partake in the creation of music, a symphony of singular vibrations composing the melodic rhythms that demand our admiration. This is Pioneer Nation. 300 days a year, we kiss the sun and run towards everything we aspire to be. A community which champions I, yet embodies we. It's stitched into the seams of this campus. The heart and soul of our canvas, colored by strong strokes of diverse opinion and unique design. Over time, we've subscribed to the strength of inclusion in pursuits of realizing a greater dream, like those seen in the peaks of our snow-capped mountains, and these Colorado rivers and streams that flow like fountains, the ones which beckon life to exist. And on these grounds, we've refrained from conformity and approval, marching to the beat of our own sound, broken walls down, and stood strong as national champions, proud, even in our imperfection, for we've all fallen short of expectations. But make no mistake, it's here where phenomenal happens. Welcome to the University of Denver. Welcome to Pioneer Nation.
Hello everyone, Denver Mayor Michael Hancock here. Welcome first-year students to our great city and state. Also, welcome to your first quarter at the University of Denver. The start of your college career is truly an exciting and monumental period in life, like when you started school in kindergarten or received your driver's license, and just a few months ago when you graduated from high school. Now, I'm sure the final few months of that experience were truly challenging and different. The same will be true for the beginning of college. How things look now will not be how they look in 4 years. In order to get to that better place, we need everyone to do your part. That means always wear your mask when around others. Practice social distancing, which means stay 6 feet away from others. Wash your hands and use hand sanitizers frequently. I know this is an exciting time. You are living away from home. You'll be meeting new friends. You'll be experiencing new places. However, we need everyone to do this while also being safe, while doing your part to make sure everyone remains safe. Welcome to the class of 2024, and go Pios.
Welcome DU class of 2024. Congratulations on joining the DU community at this historic time. It is historic, of course, because of the global pandemic we've all experienced, and because of the Black Lives Matter movement so many of us have participated in and witnessed. In light of these experiences, we thought it would be particularly fitting to shape today's convocation ceremony around watershed moments in history. My colleagues will address today's public health crisis and the movement for racial justice. As DU's Chief Academic Officer and Professor of Law, I'd like to briefly address another watershed moment in history, one which we are currently celebrating the 100th anniversary of. and that is the 1920 ratification of the 19th Amendment, securing women's right to vote. This so-called woman suffrage amendment prohibited the United States and all individual states from denying the right to vote on the basis of sex. Its ratification followed more than 70 years of unparalleled social and political activism by many women and also some men, including Frederick Douglass, who was an advocate for women's suffrage as well as a leader of the 19th century abolitionist movement. And Colorado led in the women's suffrage arena, recognizing women's rights to vote decades before the U.S. Constitution did. Beginning in 1848 with the Declaration of the Rights of Women, including the right to education, the women's suffrage movement culminated in the 1910s with pickets, petitions, parades, and protests. Among other protest acts, women chained themselves to the gates of the White House and staged hunger strikes when they were imprisoned for doing so. The women's suffrage movement demonstrated the power of persistence, courage, and passion in pursuit of a vision of justice. Women of all colors and backgrounds and of multiple generations took up the fight and were dogged in their pursuit of equality. And like today, they battled for their rights in the face of a global pandemic. I highlight this history by way of encouraging those of you who are engaged in movements for racial justice, environmental justice, and human rights more broadly, that the power of collective, concerted action undertaken with courage and conviction cannot be quelled and will make this world a better place. Thank you, and welcome to DU.
Hello everyone, I'm Todd Reinhardt, Vice Chancellor for Enrollment. Students, you're finally here. In my 23 years at the University of Denver, your class is the one I will never forget. We have taken quite a journey together, and I'm thrilled we were able to help you select DU and find your new home. Let's hope COVID-19 tests will soon be a thing of the past. Your watershed moments in history began last spring, when most of your schools ended the term with remote learning, revised grading scales, and canceled proms, graduations, sports, and other events to conclude your high school careers. We had to cancel our admitted student days in March and April, and some of you selected DU without ever visiting campus. But you adapted with us, attending our virtual programs and town halls, reading our numerous emails, and sticking with us every step of the way. You demonstrated unbelievable grit, perseverance, and resilience. And our admission team is incredibly proud of you. We cannot wait to see what you accomplish in your years at DU. You will no doubt achieve great success. Selecting your class among a pool of 22,000 applicants from across the nation and abroad was both a joy and a challenge. You distinguished yourselves throughout the admission process, sharing your unique backgrounds, identities, experiences, accomplishments, and ways of learning. Academically, you impressed us with your intelligence and desire to learn. Personally, your stories brought us smiles, laughs, and tears. You are successful athletes, musicians, artists, entrepreneurs, scientists, writers, and committed to social justice and community engagement. You've made a difference in the lives of many, and we are thrilled to welcome your many talents to our campus. Let's take a few moments to examine your class by the numbers. First-time students, our class of 2024, nearly 1,400 among the top 10 largest classes in DU history. You hail from 901 different high schools. You don't have to worry about running into too many people from your high school. 47% of you are the only person from your school in this year's class. 71% of you are from out of state, representing 48 states and 29 countries. 66% of you are 500 miles or more away from home. 15% of you will be the first in your family to graduate from college. And 27% of you identify as students of color. Let's now talk about our transfer students, classes of 21, 22, and 23. Nearly 180 students hailing from 123 different schools in 32 states and 4 countries. 64% out of state, 36% from Colorado. 24% will be the first in your family to graduate from college, and and 28% students of color. 21% of you previously applied, so you finally found DU, and 13% of you are military. Thank you for your service. Overall, our first-time and transfer students are accomplished in many ways, and we believe in the potential in each of you. That's why we offered you admission, and that's why you're at the University of Denver. Your abilities, talents, and passions will take you far. This is your time to take action in solving some of the complex issues of our world. You may be tasked with solving our world's next pandemic. This is your new chapter and your new beginning. Chancellor Hafner, Provost Clark, and members of the DU community, it is my privilege to present our transfer students and the class of 2024.
Hello, and bienvenidos to the University of Denver. My name is Tom Romero, and I am the Interim Vice Chancellor for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I'm also a faculty member in the College of Law and a proud undergraduate alumni of the class of 1995. A watershed moment in my own personal history. That, a quarter century ago, propelled me on a path that took me from this hallowed ground, here, to Michigan, Massachusetts, Peru, Boulder, Minnesota, and back home, here to Denver, where I was born and raised. A watershed moment in our collective history was 1864, the year that the University of Denver was founded, and a little over 10 years after my descendants began to settle in the southern half of what would become Colorado. My paternal descendants had long called what was then known as Nuevo Mexico home, and after the United States' aggressive push to seize lands in the 19th century, my family suddenly found themselves as American citizens. Many of us who come from Texas or New Mexico or even Colorado have a common saying: we didn't cross the border crossed us. The act of creating borders, particularly national ones, are often done with violence and with little remorse. Regrettably, our founders in 1864, including John Evans, the territorial governor of Colorado, and John Chivington, a colonel in the U.S. Army, contributed directly to the massacre of Arapaho and Cheyenne elders, women, and children, flying a flag of peace on the morning of November 29th. A horrifying deed we acknowledge as we come to grips that an abolitionist and a decorated officer who fought Confederate rebels during the Civil War nevertheless committed unspeakable atrocities that we can never forget. As we honor the Arapaho and Cheyenne, the original people upon whose lands we at the University of Denver study, we do so in some small part by embracing the idea that the knowledge you learn here can shape our diverse and deeply divided world in unexpected ways. The year was 1973, a personal watershed moment for me, as it was the year that I was born. For DU, Denver, and for our large United States, it was also the year that the United States Supreme Court found the Denver public school system to be deeply segregated. Now imagine how shocking this finding was nearly 50 years ago. A western city like Denver was found to have a public school system segregated by race, no different than those existed in cities and school districts with decades-long Jim Crow laws. How could this be when Denver or Colorado had no Jim Crow law in its books? The short answer is that thanks to a University of Denver math professor by the name of George Baldwell and several of his DU students who used census data, title transfer records, and school district maps to chart segregation over several years. According to one historian during the trial, it soon became apparent that the main actors in the drama were not the human witnesses, but the silent testimony of some 200 maps, charts, overlays, and printouts that they conclusively demonstrated that the Denver Public Schools administrators consciously manipulated attendance boundaries every year to maximize the likelihood that black and brown students would be primarily placed in the city's oldest schools with its poorest infrastructure, decaying books, and vocational curriculums. This was truly a watershed personal and institutional moment. For as a result of the tireless work of Dr. Baldwell and his DU students, the Supreme Court confirmed a lower court's order to dismantle Denver's segregated public schools by busing. A few years later, I was one of those students who was bused, and in those integrated schools, I learned to have compassion for others who came from very different backgrounds. I began there to think critically about our complex social and cultural world. And perhaps most importantly, I gained the privilege through education to engage in what has become a lifelong journey of intellectual growth. 50 years ago, DU students no different than you or even me when I was an undergraduate, having not even the slightest inkling of the profound impact that their studies would have in the long arc of justice for diversity, equity, and inclusion in this city and this country. Yet, this is the profound possibility for you at DU. It begins today. This is your moment, and I am honored to be part of the history you will make.
Hello, class of 2024, and hello, transfer students. Welcome to the University of Denver. Thank you, students, for choosing DU. And thank you to the families and loved ones for preparing your student for this important and meaningful time in their lives. I'm so proud of DU. I'm proud to be a member of this community. What I believe makes DU stand out is that from our early years until now, this community has never shirked from a challenge. In fact, we have always used challenge as opportunity. That fortitude and our commitment to serving the public good are baked into our institutional character. And character is what I want to talk about today. As you heard at the beginning of this convocation, our founding, like so many institutions in this country, particularly those in the Western United States, is not free from pain or complexity. Since that founding, we have faced several challenges. From a flood that devastated the entire city of Denver in 1864, to meeting the unique needs of the country during World War II, to a potentially disastrous financial crisis in the 1980s, to today as we navigate a devastating pandemic. No matter what obstacle or challenge we have faced, DU has always not only overcome, but grown stronger. And our character, who we are, is built into these challenges and adversities. That strength is owed to the contributions of every community member, even those who are just joining us. Because you are not arriving at DU today as a blank slate or an empty vessel here only to receive. You are arriving here with something to give. You bring with you a unique set of skills, backgrounds, and perspectives. You bring with you your passions and creativity, a sense of innovation and entrepreneurship, boundless potential, insights, talents, ideas, ambitions, and importantly, you bring with you your character and all the choices and values that comprise it. And these things are always with you. You carry them close in your back pocket, so you are ready for whatever the day or what life has in store. So I ask you now, what's in your back pocket? What are you bringing with you to DU? What portions of your character are you keeping close, keeping ready? Because part of college is about testing assumptions and convictions, maybe making them stronger, or maybe making them no longer relevant. So you and your character will be put to the test as you embark on this new experience. But here's the great news. You are not alone. All of our new DU students are embarking on this journey together, a journey that will help you formulate and shape your character, a journey that you'll share with those around you. What you lack in your back pocket, others will have. What you have, others will need. And I hope your back pocket is deep because you'll be filling it with even more while you're here at DU. We start today. Allow me to provoke reflection on 3 traits for that character back pocket of yours: resilience, responsibility, and respect. Resilience to weather the challenges that you'll face in the future. Responsibility to uphold your commitments and your integrity. And respect for yourself and others. We need this now more than ever. Reflect on these for just a moment. You've probably never been more resilient than right now. You've had a plan to come to college, and here you are at one of the best despite a worldwide pandemic. And never has responsibility been more important than now as we protect each other from the virus. And finally, with our society so polarized, embrace respect today so we can have those difficult conversations that lie ahead and appreciate the diversity of thought around us. Now I have an assignment for you. Students, parents, and loved ones, I want you to spend 20 minutes, just 20 minutes, over the dinner table or FaceTime and talk about character. Students, answer this question. What character traits do you think your parents or loved ones wanted you to embrace? And parents and loved ones, answer this question. What character traits do you hope your student will embrace? Why is this important? Because while you students embark on this great intellectual journey ahead, you need to know what was given to you. You need to know what traits your parents and loved ones want you to have. In the coming days and months and years, I hope your DU experience is fulfilling, surprising, and that it pushes you to grow into your best self. I hope you'll refine your skills to become a better, sure student, a friend, and contributor to the public good. I hope you'll better understand what excites you and what you want for your future. All of this takes courage, discipline, tenacity, and boundless curiosity. But we have these traits in abundance because this is DU, and that's who we are. This is what we keep close in our back pocket. Now, this quarter looks different than we hoped or expected, but you are now part of a long history of fortitude, perseverance, reinvention, growth, and renewal. I hope you will find that as empowering as I do. One last thing. Students, you are entering into a grand intellectual endeavor. Go into this next chapter with excitement and confidence. You've prepared for this. You've brought everything you need with you. Everything you need is in your back pocket. And we're so incredibly excited to teach, support, give to you, and learn from you. You've got this. After all, you are now DU. Once again, congratulations. It's an honor to have you here. It's an honor that you have entrusted us with your education.
To the class of 2024 and all of our new students, welcome. Hello, my name is Ryan Hyde, and I am your undergraduate student body president. We've heard today about watershed moments, points in time of huge consequences which change the way we think about the world around us. As a generation, we understand these moments. We understand them because we have lived them. Here is the rather unusual history of our youth and young adult life. We grew up in an era defined by 9/11, an era of always asking if something is safe, an era of questioning the intentions of our peers. The 08-09 market crash, so many suffered from economic insecurity. Now, all of you, as young adults, are starting your collegiate careers as we see a nation and a globe unraveling from the COVID-19 pandemic. And now, as a nation, at the cost of too many lives, we are again thinking about what race, power, and privilege mean in our country. These watershed periods in time were brought on by immense tragedy. They caused us to question the very stability of our systems and our institutions, and each required a newfound resiliency. I believe that this resiliency will be the great strength of the class of 2024 because it has been built over a lifetime. So, what does this mean for you? It means that as you pursue your studies at DU and beyond, be sure to keep the DU mantra of the public good in mind. Not a single one of us can fix all of the problems our world faces all at once. You can't fix the whole until you fix the sum of its parts. But we can all do our part. Our society is defined by the people that live in it. So I challenge you, the leaders of this generation, in the most DU spirit. How will you be a leader for public good, for positive change, for resiliency? To our incoming class, welcome. I look forward to seeing you and all that you accomplish.
Welcome to the class of 2024. Welcome to the fighters, the excited, the worried, and the everything in between. As Ryan mentioned, our generation has lived through a constant time of unease, and your journey to college during the time of COVID has been no different. My name is Deja Brooks, and as undergraduate student government vice president, I am very aware that each of our backgrounds is unique. For some of you, this may be the first time that anyone in your family has attended college, and for others, your grandparents may have met right here at DU. But to each and every one of you, no matter how you got here, I extend my sincerest congratulations, because this journey has not been an easy trek. And our journeys to DU may have been different, but recognizing where our paths diverge and creating an atmosphere that embraces that distinction is what creates the feeling of home that we're all craving to find. We, as a generation, are aware of our mental health and embrace the fact that things will not always be easy. However, you are about to embark on a journey that will bring a roller coaster of emotions. Clutch onto each emotion, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, because they, just like the University of Denver, is preparing you for a world outside of the classroom. If you have taken nothing else from what I or anyone else has said, remember that despite the fact that we are in uncertain times where we may not know where our paths lead, or what these moments in time will do for us, be certain that you are about to jump into some of the most memorable moments of your life, and you will do it with friendships that will last a lifetime. Thank you, and again, welcome to DU.